Aside from warning you about e-beggars and all sorts of online fraudsters, today I'm going to actually help most of you that travel to save money and avoid getting scammed when you're traveling outside of your home country. So let's get to it.
Don't you ever want to run away? Don't you ever want to walk away? Don't you ever want to leave this place? 'Cause I need you when the day's gone.
Now, whether you like it or not, when you travel outside of your home country, whether it's the US of A, Canada, Great Britain, Australia, New Zealand, it really doesn't make a difference where I'm talking about because obviously my audience is global. But here's the kicker. Most people don't realize that when they travel, their debit and credit cards actually charge you a conversion fee from whatever currency you're actually traveling in to your local currency of where you're from. Typically that's 2.5 to 3%, and it happens all the time. For us Canadians, it's a huge source of revenue for the banks because Canadians travel a lot, especially compared to Americans. I believe passport ownership rates for Canadians is well over 70%, whereas for Americans it hovers around 30%. Americans just don't like to travel because they either can't or are afraid to, or they don't want to, or whatever. There's a weird phenomenon. I've never actually understood why Americans, even though they can afford to, are scared to travel around the world compared to other countries. Somebody can put that in the comments section below because I never understood it. But for the rest of us wanderlust people that love to travel, here's the kicker. Number one for my own country to save you money. You're going to get ripped off on your conversion fee of your American dollars if you spend American cash in Canada. Many retailers do not give a fair exchange rate. It's sad, it's despicable, and it's wrong. And the way to avoid that is to just order local Canadian currency from your bank before you come to Canada, or go to a bank machine in Canada, take the money out with your debit card, and just spend it like cash, because it is cash.
Don't you ever want to run away? Don't you ever want to walk away? Don't you ever want to leave this place? 'Cause I need you when
even though it's colored cash. Trust me, we don't mind cash in Canada. Which brings me to these cash passports. For example, this is a cash passport that I can load up to 7 currencies from around the world and move the currencies around. Currently, I've got euros and US dollars loaded on it. And that's because I spend several months a year, anywhere between 2 and 6 months a year, outside of my country of Canada. And I'm tired of paying those conversion fees. Just Google travel cards that are prepaid with no conversion fee. That's all you need to do to look for a card that won't charge you anything. Unfortunately, many Canadian credit cards charge an annual fee if you want to get into a card that has no conversion fee. So for me, a prepaid one made a lot of sense. Now, unfortunately, I've already got this with money on it. I like it, but they charge me $3 to load. So whenever I load money on here, I want to load at least $1,000 to make it worthwhile. That way I can save $25 per thousand that I spend in the US of A. I would suggest taking a good look at the Capital One Quicksilver card that actually has no conversion fees for foreign currencies and has no annual fee.
And that the fire seemed to fade, and I know we're hanging on to something that so easily could break. Don't you ever want to run away? Don't you ever want to walk away? Don't you ever want to leave this place?
Just throwing that out there. Always, always, always read my lips, read the fine print, because the information changes all the time depending on the country you're in. Whether you are in the United Kingdom, Australia, New Zealand, the US of A, look for a product that has no conversion fee. Of course, you still have to pay whatever exchange rate between currencies, because that's always changing. That changes by the minute. But why add a 2.5 or 3% conversion fee when you do not have to? And the advantage of using a prepaid card that is Visa or MasterCard branded is you do have a degree of protection over using cash.
And I know we're hanging on to something. Can't get you out of my mind. I think right now you are sick of talking.
Otherwise, just use cash. But if you used American cash in Canada, oh boy, they're going to take it, and often they take it at par, ripping you off from anywhere from 25 to 35% of the value of your hard-earned money by accepting it, by not giving you a fair conversion. Just throwing that out there. So I want to save your hard-earned money from being wasted when you travel this summer travel season, wherever you're going in the world. And I definitely want to hear your story of bad exchange rates, because I've heard how those ATMs in the Czech Republic are ripping people off with bad exchange rates. So, hey, want you to be careful out there this summer, and I want to hear your stories. So put them in the comments section below and tell me what you think about these prepaid products, or no fee, low fee, no transaction fee, debit and credit cards, because I think it's the way to go to save money. And trust me, I'm getting ready to do even more traveling aside from the New Zealand trip, which I'm leaving on shortly. I'm thinking to do some Eurotrash traveling in the fall. Yes, sirree. But I'll leave that for another time to talk about that. So in the meantime, folks, stay safe, keep your wheels on the ground, and don't get ripped off when you spend American money in Canada, because that's just so un-Canadian. And I am so ashamed of my fellow Canadian business people that do that. Over and out.